Autism versus speech delay. Is it autism or is it a speech delay? What's the difference? This is a great question, and there certainly is a difference, and it's important to know. Let me explain. Hi, I'm Dr. Teresa Lyons. I teach parents the cutting-edge science of autism so that you can make the best decision for your child based on quality information. Let's break down the differences by age in the critical time period where a diagnosis of autism can be made, so that the amount of catch-up time is on the minimal side. So let's look at 1 year, 18 months, and 2 years. So these are the milestones for a 1-year-old in speech development. Responds to simple spoken requests, use simple gestures like shaking their head no or waving bye-bye, makes sounds with changes in tone, so it sounds kind of like speech, says mama and dada and goes uh-oh, tries to say words that you say. Tries is the key point. So here are some other developmental milestones that if you just have a speech delay, you're not going to miss any of these milestones. Cries when mom or dad leaves, has favorite things and favorite people. They might show fear in some situation. They'll hand you a book when they want to hear a story. They can get to a sitting position on their own. They'll explore things in different ways, like banging and throwing things and shaking things just to see what happens. Finds hidden things easily. Looks at the right picture or thing when it's named. They'll copy gestures, that's another milestone. They might poke with their index finger, poke, point, lots of that stuff. And they can follow simple directions like pick up that toy. And so those are non-speech related milestones that you want to see your child achieving. Okay, let's look at an 18-month-year-old. So what are the milestones for an 18-month in speech development? So they're going to say several single words. They'll say and shake their head no. They'll point to someone to show what they want. So if your child is only missing some of those milestones, then likely it's a speech delay. Let's look at other milestones for an 18-month-year-old. And this can help you determine if it's a little more than a speech delay. They might be afraid of strangers. They'll show affection to familiar people. They'll play simple pretend games such as feeding a doll, and they may cling to the caregiver in new situations. They'll point to show others something that they find interesting. They know what ordinary things are for, so the phone, brush, spoon, fork, they know what they're used for. They'll point to get the attention of others. They can point to different body parts when you name them. And they might start to scribble on their own. They can follow one-step verbal commands without any gestures. For example, sit when you say sit down. They can walk alone. They can drink from a cup and eat with a spoon. So those are non-speech related milestones. If your child is missing any of those milestones, it could be something more than just a speech delay. All right, a 2-year-old, yay, terrible twos. Okay, so let's look at the developments for speech in a 2-year-old. There is a lot of pointing. They point to things that they want or pictures. They know the names of familiar people, and they know the names of different body parts. They can say sentences with 2 to 4 words. They can follow simple instructions. They'll repeat words overheard in conversation. This is when parents have to be very careful with what they say. And they point to things in a book. All right, so if your child has missed some of those milestones, let's look at other developmental milestones for a 2-year-old to see, okay, could this be more than a speech delay? All right, they'll copy others, especially adults and other children. So like if you're mopping the floor, they want to mop the floor. They just want to do whatever you're doing. They get excited when other children show up and they want to play. They'll also start to show more independence, like, I can do it. They also will show some defiant behavior, and especially doing something that they've been told not to do. Terrible twos, right? They can play mainly alongside other children, but they're starting to play with kids. So they'll start to do like chase games, tag, things like that. They find things even when you maybe hid it under 2 or 3 covers or blankets, or they're really good at finding things. And they begin to sort shapes and colors. They can follow 2-step instructions such as pick up your shoes and put them in the closet. They can name items in a picture book, such as a cat, a bird, a dog. They can kick a ball, and they can make straight lines or circles when drawing, and they're beginning to run. So those are non-speech related developmental milestones. With a speech delay, other aspects of development are on track. With autism, many times there is some sort of speech delay, but not always. And with autism, it's important to look at all the other developmental milestones. So if your child's not meeting these milestones, it just means, okay, that's a red flag. That's a red flag. Let me start to pay attention to this a little more. For your child, whether it's a speech delay or autism, have your child evaluated by a specialist. It's important to get the right diagnosis the first time, so that time is not wasted. I have other videos about who makes the autism diagnosis and how to prevent autism, and the autism app that the FDA approved to help with an autism diagnosis, along with videos on assessments for autism and how long does it take to diagnose autism. If you found this video to be helpful, please hit the like button and also subscribe to my channel to get the cutting-edge scientific information about autism so that you can make the best decision for your child based on quality information.